10 breaths in and out, deep breaths, in our own time, just full breaths, and then we'll kick off.
Good shout.
Sweet as.
Sounds good.
See you in a jiffy.
Let's do it.
So nice, dude.
Helps
I
so
was
much,
doing it
doesn't
with
it?
my eyes.
Yeah, man. You know, I read this thing a while back from Eckhart Tolle. Is it Eckhart Tolle or Eckhart Tolle? I always get that wrong. I think it's
I think you're
Tolle.
saying it right. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, totally. I
And he
think.
says one of his readers gets in touch with him and says like, you know, when I'm struggling, I'm in the city and I'm in an apartment, and when I meditate, I struggle to, stay focused and stay within my meditation and ignore the thoughts and all that. And he says like, whilst you're meditating, acknowledge the distractions, like acknowledge the things that are going around you and incorporate it into like your environment, like your terrain almost. And I started doing that since I heard it. And whenever I meditate now, even if there's like honking going on or like some roadworks or something like this, I just incorporate that as part of the meditation. And any distractions around just sort of dissolve. And then when I come back to the present moment, there's just like nothing. Like it's just like easy. All of that noise that was disturbing, it just becomes like part of what I'm doing, part of where I am, and it helps so much.
I love that. I thought what you were going to say when you started that was the whole thing of the interferences being like the thoughts in your brain, like the distractions that are coming in there. But you mean external distractions. Same way goes for the internal ones. That with
Yeah,
if we try and stop the thoughts, try and control them, it's just horrible. It's just a horrible experience. But if we just let them go and really just not try and suppress the thoughts, because the thoughts, the way that I visualize it, it's like dust settling or stuff. It's all floating around in there. So we can't try and just silence that. It's like, don't think of an elephant. All you can fucking think of is an elephant.
yeah, yeah.
That trying not to think just makes us think even more. So for me, what helps is allowing the stuff to come up, letting it be there, and then not trying to grab it, just trying to, again, just let it go, come back to center, let it go, come back to center. Um, but like we were just mentioning earlier, man, like the state that we're doing stuff in, it's so, so, so important. Like I just hit a second breathwork session for the day there, and I just needed it today. Like yesterday, I was feeling so in
Just
such
resets
a more
everything, doesn't it?
calm state. It does, dude. But the one that I did that usually resets, it wasn't enough, man. Like I have the one that we put in the Breathe with Sandy, like in 5 minute one,
But yeah,
super super short and sweet. Tano said it's like taking a shot of heroin. That one. There's something about the
yeah,
way that the breathing is in that one. I don't know what it is. Is it because it's all like it's kind of all hyperventilating, And then when I do the breath retentions, Jesus Christ, I'm like in another world. But yeah, dude, it wasn't enough today. Hit him with the
Just some
second.
more, take some more heroin.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, to go back to the dust settling analogy, that's like perfect because there's dust going around and it's all floating in here. And when the act of trying to ignore them, it is reaching for them. Like you said, it's trying to catch them. You're trying to catch them and wrangle them and like choke them out almost, RKO them
Hmm.
out of your mind. And it's not like that. It's more of a gentle approach. Everything is gentle. Like everything's got to be observational. When these dust particles are floating around the thoughts, when you try and do that for dust, one, you're not getting anything. Maybe you get a bit of dust on your hand, but it just all of the particles they just go like this, crazy, crazy.
That's a good
But
analogy.
and this also applies with everything too. Like the more we bring awareness to something, we don't have to do anything with it. You know, a lot of people think like, okay, there's the thought, now I have to ignore it, and now I need to push it, and now I need to do this. And that's in itself engaging the mind. But actually, we just look at it and watch it and see what's happening. And like you would, let's say you hear some noise outside and you go and look out the window and there's like kids playing and stuff like that. Or there's people stood outside and they've got hoods on or, whatever. And you can either allow your subconscious programming to start dictating your thoughts based on that reaction, or you can just spend a few moments to observe what's happening. Most of the time, there's no threat there, there's no nothing there. It's just some people hanging out waiting for a lift, or the kids are just playing football, or, and it's
Hmm.
just watching, it's just observing. You don't have to do anything with anything. It's all just about, yeah, just being and
Yeah,
watching everything that's
dude,
going on. And
fully like you saying that is making me think back to our conversation about my last ceremony experience. And again, I don't necessarily like discussing details in general, but that whole thing that we often create something that isn't even there completely in our minds, and then we end up keeping ourselves hostage and just torturing ourselves for something that doesn't even exist. And
yeah,
it's fucking crazy, man. Dude, there's so much I want to talk about right now, and I'm so excited for this conversation. I do want to give some context for anybody listening that we will get into. Uh, I really want to talk about what you're working on because I think it's one of the coolest projects out of anybody I know that they're building. Just a quick
thank you, man.
TLDR: Pierce is building an app to help people live more in line with nature cycles. So nature cycles are happening. How we can then fit ourselves into that, so we're not swimming upstream and we're actually utilizing the flow that is happening to cruise along, baby. But I guess I realized we've never actually spoken about how you got to that point, because I was thinking of, okay, you're now in a really centered state, really aware. Where did the awareness start? How long have you been meditating? Like, kind of what's the when did you go down the rabbit hole, or how did your whole process start?
Oh, good question, man. Do you know what? I don't even think about this too much. I don't think I've ever really thought about the journey. Let me see if I can put something together. Okay, so I started this whole endeavor from a scientific domain, actually. I was very unaware, unconscious. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was like 13. So I always saw life happening to me. And it wasn't a state of resentment because I did come to accept it, whether I knew it or not. But there was just some things that kept coming up in my life, like the diabetes, and then me not looking after it led to a lot of complications with the diabetes. And I was always looking at it from a state of why me, like why out of all of these people, why does this happen to me? And that's such a that's part of my growth journey, of course, but it was just such a one, it was a perspective of lack, and two, it was a perspective of lack of perspective. Like I didn't really understand my place in the universe. And I started asking basic questions, and it started with that, why me,
Hmm.
And the scientific literature says like we are meaningless, there's nothing going on. I read Richard Dawkins, the Selfish Gene,
Hmm.
and it just basically the whole scientific underline. It's just about how how nature dictates consciousness. And I was in that mind frame for such a long time, and it's so miserable because there's nothing. It's like, oh, we're just here, we're just a speck. And anyway, to cut to cut a whole thought process out, I eventually got to a point where I was just contemplating everything. Just like, why are we here? What are we doing? Like, this isn't doing it for me. This scientific thing, it's not doing it for me. Like, it's just not. So I started looking into space and into black holes and all of this stuff. And that led me into like some really cool shit, but then also at the same time, some really miserable stuff. Like, we are just alone. We are just a speck. We are nothing. And then as you progress down these pathways, you start looking into like conspiracy theories and how awful the world is, right? And there's so much going on and everything's horrible. And it just sent me down this absolute like dissension spiral into madness, almost madness. And
Madness by the standard definition or the
yeah,
societal standard.
literally. Yeah. No, I was having like breakdowns and stuff. Just crying. I'll be talking to my friends and I'd look up and I'd see all the stars and I would just cry. And this would be like, I would be drinking with some friends and I would just start crying.
Fears is crying again, lads.
Oh God, sorry. But then from that space, I lived with two friends when I was in a city in England, Preston, and one of them was like super spiritual. He was sort of like on his yogic path, and he was getting really into it. And he introduced me to a lot of concepts. At first, I didn't understand. Like he mentioned like let's do a meditation together. I was like, okay, I'll try it. Why not? And he's like, find some good meditation music. And I'm thinking like, okay, the Stranger Things soundtrack's pretty calming. Skyrim ambience is quite nice, so I'm playing this stuff. And he's like, no, you need to find like the vibrations. And it was just so foreign to me, dude. But living with him, I think I lived with him for maybe like a year and a half, maybe longer, and slowly introducing me to these concepts. He was a musician too, so that helped with the vibration stuff. He put me onto like Alan Watts and all of this stuff. Anyway, one domino led to the other. Da, 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 da. Then I get deep into the conspiracy stuff because I want to take a new perspective on it this time. Because the old perspective was just dire, miserable, awful, and this new
Pessimistic.
perspective, I'm sort of becoming to understand that there's more to everything. That actually consciousness might be the thing that dictates reality. So I thought I can do this. I can handle these conspiracy theories. And boy, oh boy, could I not. I could not. They wiped me. They wiped me, man. Because there's so much out there. And yeah, so I was in this state of understanding where I get that everything's a vibration. I get that consciousness dictates this. Yeah. I know. But I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's not wisdom. It's just an intellect. My mind is latched onto all these ideas, and I had no idea what to do with them. And then I hear ayahuasca. I think it's Graham Hancock. He talks about his experience with ayahuasca.
Yeah, he was one of the
And
first people I heard talking about it as well.
yeah, I think he introduced a lot of people to a lot of, fringe sort of stuff. Because you can tell by the way he talks, he's not trying to fool anyone. He's just
Yeah,
talking out of
yeah,
love.
yeah. Like just to interrupt there, he says one thing that he thinks that before anybody should go into politics, they should be mandated to do like 12 ayahuasca sessions. And
I
dude,
agree.
the world would be a different place, man. It really would. But
I
how
agree,
far
man.
away is that happening?
Well, that's another thing we can talk about later because it ties into the whole we're disconnected from everything. And the ayahuasca and the psychedelics, they're just things to help us connect again. That's all it is. Like, those states of reality are accessible to all of us. It's just we lose connection to all of it. So, yeah, so I go over to, I saw this, as soon as I heard the podcast, I click on this link and ayahuasca, cool. And then I searched it and like the first link popped up, Gaia Sagrada, someplace in Ecuador in the mountains. And I just looked at it for a couple of seconds without even realizing it, and I just thought, I'm doing it. And then I went to the pricing page. I had just enough savings. I had some savings, thanks to my mum, who allowed me to buy the ticket and then fly over and stay there for a while. And I thought, fuck it, I'll just do it. So I just clicked it. Something inside me, I'd never done this stuff before. I always like to make sure everything's good. And I just went click, done, boom. Wow.
You bought it.
I bought it just there and then in the moment. And my intuition was just like, it was pulling me so much. The, the shamans say you get callings for this stuff. Like the medicine will call you when you're ready. And I think that was it. I don't know what else that was. Anyway, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because I could be here for a long time. But um, I did the ayahuasca. The ayahuasca basically all of the intellectual knowledge I've been picking up along the way. The ayahuasca sort of slotted it all together into a jigsaw picture that I could actually utilize, and everything was amazing. Flies would land on my hand, and I can just see all the intricacies, and I'm crying. And somebody would mention like how the mind works, and I'm just like, oh god, like everything was just amazing. Everything was just beautiful. So yeah, that was the thing that got me into this whole thing. The ayahuasca that really like shifted my entire framing of how I see reality completely. And then yeah, dude, since then it's just been understanding, learning more and more about this stuff. Some of the syncretism things that we talk about, that's like, I don't know if you would say it's advanced, like understandings, but it never starts there. It always starts with how do I meditate? How do I do this yoga? How do I start eating healthy? It's always about addressing those things first. And as I noticed my mental space getting clearer and clearer, everything else sort of fell in line as well. And now after having a really good grasp of this syncretism, the understandings that everything's sort of a fractal, as above, so below, the principle of cause and effect, where like everything you do has an equal opposite reaction, electromagnetism, the way all that stuff works, and with like sacred geometry and like how vibrations play a big part. This has all just come together recently and it's just set me free. And I'm no longer bound to anything in this reality. I've stepped into, I guess a lot of people would say, like creator mode, like I'm not an effect anymore. I'm causing the life that I want.
Hmm.
As soon as I stepped into that, everything's fallen into place, dude. Everything's just like, and so yeah, that's it in a nutshell, basically. that's that's
Amazing, dude. Yeah, like just as you were saying that there, I was thinking that the syncretism is similar to the conspiracy theories. One, it can set you free, or it can also be the trap that we can also spend so much time looping. And I think them two together, they're a very nice pairing. Because if you're
hmm
just down the conspiracy whole theory, you're right. It's depressing. It's fucking pessimistic. It's like doom and gloom. It's like what the hell is the point? And then that's if that's our frame, that's our perspective. Then we're looking at life through that frame, and then we're just seeing all the negative shit. And I got stuck in that for a while.
Reinforcing it too, like, aha, there's that thing that I saw. Aha, there's
Yeah.
that thing.
Was it like bias, cognitive bias? I don't
Yeah,
know. Um, fully, man. But at the same time, then the syncretism also extremely liberating, but needs to be taken with not a pinch of salt, but with a caution to, okay, how much do I need to know to then
yeah,
come back to this reality and navigate it?
yeah,
Um, because again, then you can also get lost in that. And I did that also, then just researching, finding more information, and it's just like, okay, now what? And that's what I love about what you're doing. It's the now what? Here's the information. Now, what do we actually do? How do we actually apply this to our life? Because you can know all the esoteric fucking shite you want, but if you don't, like, if your life's a mess, then what is the point in spending 12 hours a day
yeah.
researching? And I think that's where the gap is. That's the bridge that you are making. It's incorporating the information with the application. That's why I fucking love it, dude.
Yeah, thanks, dude. And it's about too, like, when I was doing my research into all of this stuff, I just kept coming up against resistance after resistance. And when I say that, I mean some information would be here, and then some information would be all the way over here, and it's just like I came to a roadblock in this one, but then because there's so much of it, you find one concept, and then there's just like a branch of like all of these different strands you can go down, and
Yeah.
it just takes so much time to explore all of them, and it's unless you dedicate your entire life to it, it's almost impossible to spend all of that time down these branches. Because yeah, like if you're not careful, your life can start to go into disarray,
Hmm.
and um, it's really important to this information is really important because it's been lost. It's been lost for a while, and there are some great people on the scene who are bringing it, back into the light. And the problem I had was that I had to study. I had to do I had to do all this shit, right? I had to do like all the mind maps and drawings, and I have like an obsidian vault with all the thingies connected, and I'm trying to like piece it all together. Like you said, like you get down the rabbit hole, and I wasn't meditating. I was going to bed like super late, getting takeouts because I didn't have enough time to, you know, make a healthy meal. My nutrition research got put on hold because I'm trying to cure my type 1 diabetes. Sorry, I am. I
You
am
are
curing.
correct.
Yeah, I am. It's gone. It's gone. I'm just waiting for it to go. Um, so that all of the stuff that was crucial to my being seemed to take a step back because I was so focused on getting the information, and I started developing more dis-ease is, and my body was just in conflict because my mind wanted to just race down this rabbit hole at every new exciting. Like I first got introduced to dielectricity, electromagnetism, and all of these like complex stuff, and I was fascinated. And all I wanted to
Hmm.
do, like literally, like 8 hours would disappear
Know
with me just like
everything.
looking at things. Yeah, yeah. And then I forgot to eat, and yeah, so it's super dangerous. So what I want to do with this app primarily, it's that you can use the app and you can have zero knowledge about any of this stuff, but the app's going to show you a very basic. Um, I don't know if we can overlay something or whatever. We can figure out. Um, Very basic user interface, and it's like a circle. It's got the zodiac signs around it, and that's it. That's it. There's no complex menu systems. There's no like. I'm not teaching. I'm not telling anybody to do anything. The software, it's going to be built with the foundation of all of this wisdom in it. It's going to be ingrained into the app. So when a user lands on it, they're not overwhelmed with anything. They start with literally the first version of the app. They start with their natal chart, and that's it. So it's a nice natal chart, and it's the design's nice. I've been working on the design for about 5 years, so I'm very happy with where we're at with it.
Just
And
to interject there, if you could
yeah,
expand on what a natal chart is, because I think that, yeah, it's not necessarily.
okay, yeah, good point. Good point. Okay, so let's start with astrology, right? So I think in our Western society, everybody knows what astrology is. And I would say maybe like 80% of them think it's full of shit. And, right.
80.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Closer to 90, I would say. Like, as soon as you mention, if you even start saying it, you go ass like that, they go, oh God, this guy again.
Again, I think the tide is shifting, but it's an upward climb. But I think
100%.
it is
I
definitely,
agree with you.
yeah,
And
it's heading in the right
people
direction.
people are beginning to, let's say, awaken to it from an intuitive landscape. So they're just starting to notice things and things that start to resonate, and that's the best way to do it for sure. Obviously, with the app, we can start to just guide people into it and use it. But before we go there, I just want to clarify the astrology stuff. The way I see it, it's that okay. So there's so many directions I could go. There's a quote that's been popping up online a lot from Nikola Tesla, and he says something along the lines of, if we as a society started to understand the magnificence of energy, frequency, and vibration, then we would make more technological progress, more spiritual progress in a decade than we have in the last century. Something along those lines, right? Um, Energy, frequency, and vibration. So everything is vibration. Everything in our material, it's suspended by a vibration. And I lost my train of thought. Yeah, everything is suspended in vibration, and it's the notes and the songs that are being played by the vibrations around us. So we know that the Earth has a resonance of 3.67 hertz, something like that. We call it the Schumann resonance. We know that when we change the frequency of a radio station, we know that it plays different things. And frequency, it's just how long does it take me to get from this point to this point? That's all frequency is. So a 1 second interval, or let's say not 1 second, a 1 hertz interval, it's going to be like, and if it's like 4 hertz, it's going to take me longer to get there. Am I getting that wrong? I'm getting that wrong, aren't I? It's the other way around. The lower the frequency vibration is, the longer it takes to get there. That's why infrared light takes so long to get to its next destination, whereas gamma, it's like this.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the only reason I mention that, it's because everything is consistent of energy, frequency, and vibration. And I don't see the zodiac any differently to this. The way I see this is the zodiac being the 12 governing signs that encompass everything, all of astrology. The constellations in the sky, that's where we got the zodiac signs from. There are more constellations than the 12, but we just use the 12 as like the guardians.
That's it. Uh-huh.
And the way I see it is, we are a symphony. Every single life, it's a specific symphony created from the frequencies, vibrations, and energies distributed from the zodiac through the planets. So I like to think that the planets are like instruments. So Mars is like a percussion drum, right? Venus is more like a harp. Like, yeah. And each one has their own like take on it, but the zodiac's still pushing those frequencies through. And each planet, it's playing their own versions of the notes and the frequencies that are being played through it. Now, in music theory, they say that you have your notes. There are way more than 12, by the way. They're just the ones given to us. The real beauty of music happens in between the notes. It's not the note itself. And I think that a being, a physical life here, it's a snapshot capture of all of this harmony being played, and all of this frequencies and all of the energy and electromagnetic, all of this stuff all around us, and then boom, click. That's freeze frame. What happened right here? That's your natal chart.
Great description. Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
with the app, sorry, dude, one more thing. With the app, currently we can only visualize this, and when we do visualize these natal charts, they're just so complex and overwhelming. We have to rely on somebody else to give us a breakdown of it, and that's good. Like, I think that's good, because these people are professionals. But I think this can be more intuitive than that. So when you land on the app, I want to be able to show you that here's a blank, here's your natal chart, blank. No overwhelmingness, just here's your planets, the positions, and all of this stuff. And you get to, at your own pace, go and explore, see which planets move around and stuff like this. You click on the planet, it shows you a profile. I'm not going to try and find it. It shows you the profile of the planets and the transits and the relationships between each and how it could be affecting you. And then taking the current cycles of the sun, current cycles of the planets, how now could be affecting you based on who you are as a being. Um,
Hmm.
and then I want to add like an audio element to it. I want to try because I believe I just caught myself like tick, 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 tick. uh, yeah, I think. Okay, let's leave it there. Let's leave it there because I can go on and on and on and on. So
Okay, let me chew on that for a minute then. So
yeah,
the natal chart is like the snapshot of, let's say, our coding, for instance. And an analogy that popped into my head there was that we have our coding, and that the depending on where the planets are currently in the sky, and the analysis that your app will give is like seeing if the API will fit into like that plugin, like seeing how what the reaction is depending on what the current other code is, or like depending on the two
yeah,
devices. Like, we have our code and then there's the external code, and how do those two fit into each other currently, because the external code is constantly changing. Our code is, let's say, our snapshot, but it then has a different relationship with the ever-changing code that is revolving around as the stars are going around. Okay. um and then the it's funny then you mentioned it's all like a song. It's like the whole universe, like one verse, and then the different planets. What I was trying to wrap my head around is so that we're impacted by all of the different planets at our time of birth. Dude, is it that it's the moment that we take our first breath? So that's when the natal chart kicks in. If we are, like breath is spirit in like Latin, Greek, or it's like air, spirit, wind, words all related to that. That we are the breath. So then the natal chart kicks in as soon as we take our first. That's when our code then is activated. Do you follow with that? Is
yeah,
that
um,
where you
yeah.
could
It's
be it?
more. It's yeah, that makes sense. Um, so I just want to say something that about the zodiac first. So um, everything that we experience in our reality, it's within us. It's just a giant projection. It's a simulation. What we have going on inside our state of being is what is projected outside. So when we say that the zodiac are giving us energy, the planets and the zodiac, they're just representations of what's going on inside of us. So when I say they influence us, I don't mean, oh, the moon's moving and therefore I feel like I'm moving. Like it, it's more about the energies, the patterns that the planets are creating. They're the archetypical structural patterns that's happening all throughout existence.
Mm-hmm.
They're just
Mm-hmm.
they're just
Okay.
imprints. They're just representations of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in regards to the moment of birth, so when we look at the zodiacs, the zodiac signs and how they're laid out, maybe I can actually show something.
Yeah, dude. My last podcast was actually with a Vedic astrologer. I just released it during the
Oh,
week.
sick!
Um, but I never got him to do a reading. He's in Vietnam actually, so when we're both there, we can link
Oh,
up.
hell yeah, hell yeah,
Yeah,
man!
get a reading.
I can't find it. I think I left it. I think I left it. Okay, but basically, no. Okay, hold on, hang on. I know I have it here somewhere.
What are you trying to find?
Just like a display of the zodiac, just so I can sort of show what it is I'm talking about.
Santos describes it as like as we're coming, like as our soul or as our being is coming down, that it's like all the planets are stacked on top of each other, and as we pass through each one, we then
We're
take a little bit
gaining
of
a
that with us. Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe that's just
Uh,
a visual representation of it.
I think it's going to flicker too much, isn't it? Okay, never mind.
Sure.
um, yeah, it's a
I think maybe
visual.
if you hold it back near your face. Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that very well. Um, but basically, we always associate Aries as the beginning of the cycle. When the sun rises at 6 a.m., that's when the sun is born. Um, I don't want to do too biblical stuff because I don't want to put people away. But basically, it's the sun. It's the sun. The birth of the sun in March in Aries,
Hmm.
and before this, there is an incubation time. So the reason why, so the current Gregorian calendar system, it's messed up. Um, I don't can't remember where I mentioned this, but we have like December, and that's Dec Ember, and Dec is 10 Deca. It's 10, but December falls on our 12th month in our current system, and we have October, which is the 8th month.
Yeah. Uct. In Irish is uct.
Yeah, November 9 Nova.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and then
Shit.
we get to
Yeah.
December, and then we start again. It's like what? What the hell are we doing? And some of the months, I think it's like I don't know. Julius Caesar wanted a month, so they named one after him. Some other dude wanted a month, so and then I wanted to borrow some. So it became like an ego thing. The Gregorian calendar is just like a system structure made by the Roman Catholics. That's just like an ego thing.
So
It's
so
it's all
July
weird.
is Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they just people just wanted their own like legacy, I suppose. Um, it's all
Shit.
it's all it's all distractions. It's all of this kind of stuff. But the thing that they do have, I was going to say they have
Right?
right, but we need to rid ourselves of that really. Um, Basically, the birth, it's the conception. It's the light is increasing, and as the light gets to its pinnacle point, it's born. That's the beginning of the chart. That's the beginning of somebody's natal chart. So when their first breath, like you said, when they get their first breath, that's it. Snapshot that.
Hmm.
Um, but the life is conceived um, around Capricorn, and this is the
For
incubation table. This
everybody,
is in the yeah. This
or
is
just
where you're in the womb.
huh?
So you're in
Okay.
the womb, and you have all of this, information being downloaded of like who you are, and it's the current circumstances of what your parents are doing at the moment influences like the manifestation that you're going to become. Again, we think of parents as like they're doing it to us, but in an energetic perspective, everything is supposed to be exactly where it is. Some in this field say that we choose to come here and we chose the exact energetic patterns that we want to explore. And I do subscribe to this because we have things that are unexplainable, like where does our personality come from? Why are we interested in certain things and not other things? There's like at school I wasn't into sports, but as soon as I got on a computer I was hooked. It's like we don't know where that comes from. We can't scientifically explain it. And I believe we come here to explore themes and live out certain stories.
Certain timelines.
So
Hmm.
yeah, dude, yeah. So because we are the observer, these effects and events are going to happen. It's just we're going to come into it and observe it, experience it, feel it, play it, love it, hate it. It's all part of this song that we're making here. Um, so yeah, to answer your question, long-winded way of answering your question, it's the conception. You you asked whether it was yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then, hey, then we have our coding code, for instance, for me, that word just resonates so much. Like I can literally, oh, dude, have you? I know we're jumping around, but it's in line with the code. Have you seen the DMT with the code experiments?
With the infrared
Apparently,
lines.
yeah, and you can actually look up and see the actual coding.
People are like seeing through
Um,
walls and stuff like that.
mhm.
It's just a
Again,
simulation. The whole thing's a simulation.
and that's where psychedelics can play a massive, for me, anyways. My experience with psychedelics, it helped me to visualize or get a physical representation, maybe not physical, but yeah, a visual representation of these concepts that I had in my head that I couldn't quite connect the dots. The medicine and the psychedelics helped me to actually experience that and go, okay, that's how this works. When I take a breath in, all the energy contracts. When I breathe out, it releases. And it's yeah, it's insane that this is happening. And if
It's
we could see ourselves, like if I could see you now and I could see your aura, your energetic field, some people can, but if we could all see our own toroidal field, I think we would treat each other so differently. We would treat life so differently. And it comes back to this whole thing of like, oh, why, like the conspiracy theorists, like, why would they lie to us? If you think that you are something else, you will behave differently. Like if you saw yourself
yes,
as who you really are, then you wouldn't necessarily think, okay, my vocation is to go get a job. And I'm gonna fucking do this for the rest of my life. Like the thing where you draw a circle around somebody and tell them that they can't leave there or they'll die. And then you then have power over that person because you've changed what their perception of the reality is. So there is merit in
exactly.
it. What are the motivations? God knows, and that's when you can get lost in the darkness, etc. But then it gets me down to the point. It's like if everything is perfect and it's as it's supposed to be, then we're not even supposed to change it. So again, we need to no, not need, we don't need to do anything. It's like all the bad things that are happening in the world, they're they're part of the puzzle. They're part of the symphony. Like if you listen to any like in classical music, there is those ups and downs and the sharp bits. So it's not necessarily our job to try and change those because what's it in the Tao that like everything is perfect. We cannot have we can impact it, but it's not our duty to grab onto it and to change it. And it goes the same then with our own like in our own Tao, our own flow to let go. Like we were speaking about on the call earlier, like letting go is how we receive, and trying to chaperone it too much or decide where we're supposed to go is actually just ends up yeah just getting lost in something that's not as good as it
Literally.
could be.
And it goes back to what you said right at the beginning of this conversation about the dust settling. Um, us trying to change external reality. It's like us trying to grasp for those dust storms. Or like if you drop, if a leaf falls into a pond and it's still, there's a natural cycle that that leaf's going to take if you leave it alone. But we go in and we go like this. We try and grab the leaf and we miss it and we create all of this disturbance around it and then it moves over in this direction and then our hand gets wet and we splashed ourselves and we're creating all of this mess and chaos because we're trying to attach ourselves to something external when in reality nothing is external, everything is just us.
Hmm.
And the horrible things that are happening in the world, horrible things, that it's all the same mind, it's all the same consciousness. A Like you said about the songs too, like the most interesting songs. There's an artist I really like, Ren. Have you ever heard his song, Hi Ren?
No, I don't think
Blew me
so.
away, dude. It blew me away. He's like dealing with like schizophrenia, and he has been for a while, like a proper tortured artist. And he played this absolutely beautiful melody, High Ren, if you're interested.
Hi,
And
Ren. Higren.
yeah, Hi Ren, High Ren. And I think I just cried, and I just couldn't stop listening to it for over and over. And it was so beautiful because it touched something. It touched like, I don't know what it was. It just moved me so much. And that beauty isn't available if everything was perfect, if everything was peaceful, if everything was still. And ultimately, the only thing we have to do, we don't have to do anything, but the only thing we do is be. And that's be in an experience. These um, travesties or horrible things in the world, they just create opportunities for experience. Because some of us don't want to come here and experience pure bliss. We have an infinity to do that. We have infinity. Time not even a concept. Time's just a thing for us. We have all of infinity to explore our wildest dreams and passions. But every now and then you want a little adventure, and these certain specific snapshots of cause and effect events allow us to have these experiences and allow us to, like a video game. You get plopped in the beginning, you know nothing about the video game, you learn, you grow, you evolve, sometimes you die, and then you just, you retry, and you go again. um, and you level up, and you unlock new knowledge, and you get new skills, and you get new abilities, and you meet new people, and it's all like a story. There's an ordeal. Um, it's all of these things. So by recognizing that these horrible events aren't meant to entrap us, they aren't meant to hurt us, they're there to give us an experience. And how we react to the experience that we chose determines what kind of time we're going to have here, what kind of life we're going to have. Two people can be in the same room, and the room could be, two people could be in a sauna, right? Or two people could get into a cold plunge. One person hates it because it's too cold and I can't believe it and I'm never doing this again. And this has been the worst experience of my life. And then they go off because they've created internal conflict in their body. They get hypothermia and they get ill and they're like, see, I'm never doing that again. That's bullshit. The same person can jump into the cold plunge, come out of it alive and new and fresh. Be like, I love that. That gave me so much energy. And that could spiral them off into do something amazing.
Fully, dude.
So
Fully.
the events just are. It's how we react to them that creates the experience that we have.
It's not what happens to you; it's how you react to it.
Exactly.
Dude, what you were saying there about the pond and the leaf in there, and like how we're trying to impose our way, and we end up creating mess for ourselves. Made me
Mm,
think of your current situation now, where your your dilemma or your debate about shall I just move to Vietnam now? Shall I quit my job this month? Shall I wait an extra month? And really, if we're going along the logic of what of the current train of thought that we're operating on, the the working is in a sense creating the mess, if that makes sense. That everything is already perfect, and if you were able, okay, yeah, but in one aspect or one frame, the work could be the mess. Is in everything is already perfect, so I can just
yes.
jump, be free, and it will all work.
Yes. The
But
work
I'm going
could be
to
the mess.
depending on how you choose to approach yourself to it.
Because you guys really helped me out with this because you were framing it as incorporate it as part of the vision, become at ease with it, and just use it for what it is. Get an extra little bit of money, and it gives you a little bit of freedom later down the line. Um, there's a guy I'm working with, Josh. You know Josh, obviously. He's like OG dude. He's like the guy, and he said every path has liberation in it, and there are demons on all sides. If there's a decision, there's demons there, and by demons I don't mean like I'm gonna go and steal your soul, boy. I don't mean that like a thought, like
It was
a
reminiscent.
pestering thought. Yeah, like a pestering thought. And if there's pestering thoughts on both sides, and you can't make a decision, it creates conflict, and it's in that conflict that creates the disease. Whereas what Josh says is, whatever happens, there is liberation in every choice. You just have to accept it and accept this is what it is, and just make the decision work. He would have framed that in a way more elegant way than me as well, but um,
It
I
does have a
find
way with
myself
words.
caught up in all of this conflict because um, what if I don't go now, if I don't go now, I'm not trusting in the universe. But if I do go now, then I might not have enough money. And then you start what I did, which you probably shouldn't do, is I started reaching externally for the answer. So I was reaching out to you guys, I was reaching out to Josh. Josh gave me like there's demons here, like just work with them, like be at peace with them. Um, or if you want to, you just quit and you make that work. And then you guys were saying, no, like you should incorporate this in the vision, like that 2 grand's going to go a long way and all of this stuff. And I was creating so many points of decision that I was just fighting and fighting and fighting. And then I just became so fatigued and I just let it all go. And as soon as I let it all go, I got clarity, like instantly,
Hmm.
to just be at peace with it. Because every
It's making
moment
me.
is an opportunity for growth. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like there's the long way around, and there's always the short way. If we completely just fucking just strip naked and just run like that, there is a path there that we can get to where we want to go. Like literally, just quantum leap there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just step function to there. But it requires ultimate trust,
Trust.
and trust,
Yeah.
complete trust
Yeah.
and consistency in that trusting. And it's easy to trust when things are going good. It's not so easy when things are not going so good. When shit hits the
Exactly, dude.
fan. And this is always a dilemma that I always often come back to. It's like this thing of what is what is the best way to get to where I'm going. And I went through literally the same pattern in 2022. No, beginning of 2023. I came back from Peru and was deciding, okay, what do I? Because basically, I was living there. I hadn't planned on staying there. Ended up just staying and working over there. But again, I had all my bills in pounds, so it was
Mm.
literally just I was just going further and further into just digging my hole further and further. Eventually, said, you know what? Fuck it. Let me pause this, go back, do the logical thing, like not go with my feeling, go with the logic, like let me sort shit out. Came back and then decided, okay, what is the best route to now get to where I want to go? And I took, I had to make the decision. I was like, am I going to just keep down this path of trusting, but also coming up against difficulties, not trusting completely, not taking full responsibility of my feelings, allowing the doubt to creep in, knowing
Mm.
logically that I'm supposed to trust, that I'm supposed to keep my thoughts positive, that I'm supposed to have no fear, have no doubt in this. And then I realized, you know what? I have been aware of that. It's like there's a big difference between knowing something and acting it out. Like I've been aware of this. This is what I'm supposed to do for a few years now, and I've not been able to live up to it. Let's say I know what to do, I just can't do it. So I said, you know what? Let me now, instead of just banging my head against the wall and keeping trying to trust, let me listen to the logic voice and put physical stuff in place, even though I know I'm going from A to B and it's a straight line, but I'm going to walk in a circle the whole way around or zigzag, knowing it's going to take longer, knowing I'm taking more steps, knowing that I'm actually putting myself through quote unquote like hardship, like working something that I don't want to be doing in
Mm.
order to get there, but to guarantee it, like forcing my way there. And that's what it is. It's force or letting go. And I couldn't let go because I wasn't in an emotional state to.
Mm.
I was telling my, like, the logic brain was telling me that I wasn't in a position to, that, oh yeah, well, I don't have my funds in place, entrepreneurship this, entrepreneurship that, it's better to do logic, etc. Just dancing between those. And I said, you know what, fuck it. Taking the long way around. Let me just fucking graft it out for a while, save up money, and then go back to the trusting side.
And that's a perfect example too. It's making any of the decisions okay, isn't it? Like you made the choice to go with the logic path and get your finances in order, and that's amazing. It's the conflict that arises along the way when we don't accept that that's what we're doing, and
Hmm.
that's what happened with me too. Like I wasn't, I wanted to be there now, and I wanted to trust in the
Hmm.
universe now, and it's what you said.
Yeah.
It's the force, and it's everything's okay. You just have to be at peace with it.
Yeah.
That's another Josh
Fully, dude.
quote.
um, it's so true. And then this is also interlinked, that what we were saying earlier about, it's not what happens to you, it's how you perceive it. And there's also things that we can do to stack the odds in our favor to help our perception. Again, because it's fine on the good days, but on the difficult days, we need that, not insurance blanket, but that extra push. And for me, one thing that I just despised was the whole thing of like signing a contract, like
Yeah,
that, like I see it as like contracts are compromised. Like no matter how good the job is, like it could be the exact same thing that I'm doing right now, the exact same thing, which I love, but if I have to sign a contract, I feel like I'm compromising myself. I feel like this internal thing, like
yeah,
fuck, like I literally feel like I'm like I'm selling myself out. And and it was so interesting that because of that, it's stubbornness, really. It's like ego, it's stubbornness. Because of that, I then had to take an even longer way around, because I was interviewing for decent corporate jobs, to say like high paying sales jobs with good commission, stuff like that. But I would have had to put on a suit and I would have had to go into the office. And I was just like, dude, I did all the interviews, fucking got accepted to two jobs, had two jobs to decide between. I was like, I don't think I can fucking do this, man. And I just said, you know what, fuck it. If I'm going to do this, I'm taking the long way around. I'm going to take it on my terms. So I didn't sign any
good man.
contract and just did, but it ended up being that I'd have to work, like, dude, I was doing like in a 30-day month, I was doing like 32 shifts to make up for the fact that to make the same
Wow.
amount in like building stages, doing extra work, like just stuff that's pouring coffee, stuff that I felt comfortable in, that I could still smoke a
Yeah,
joint in the evening, and not change who I was, not have to put on a mask, let's say. Because I
yeah,
remember getting a job before and having to change my LinkedIn bio, and just I remember thinking like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I'm literally changing who I am. I know you have to play the game and it's optics, but what game is that? Like you have to change who you are. Like literally, you have to set yourself out. Like you're like, and it goes far, because that sets off an internal conflict within us. Like we know that we're now not being 100% ourselves. So that goes out there and that comes back some way, shape, or form. We
oh
know that
yeah,
we're kind of betraying ourselves in a way. That's kind of the word, really. For me, yeah, it's like it almost makes you like want to cry, like fuck, no, I cannot do that to myself. But then the logic
yeah.
brain is like, fucking, like the game is the game. That is optics. Da, 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 da. Yeah, it's an interesting one.
But even though your path took longer, did you feel better about that in the end, as like a
Oh,
decision that you
dude.
made?
Yeah, fully, dude. And I know it was a lot based on stubbornness. That I was like, I'm gonna fucking just do this without that. But yeah, man, it it enabled me to know that if I was getting like, let me frame it like this: the whole thing of choosing to do it as opposed to having to do it. I
Hmm.
felt I'd signed the contract, I would have to do it. I'm actually going
Yes.
to do more than that, but because I want to do it. I'm choosing to work 8 hours in the coffee shop and then go build a stage in the evening and then get up and do the same thing tomorrow. But if I want, I can take the rest of the week off. I didn't do that because I needed to make the money, but I had the option in my head, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So like I was liberated in doing it. I never felt like someone's forcing me to be here. I was like, I'm choosing to do this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it did help. But yeah, if it was the better option, maybe it would have just been better just to cool it off and just get a high paying job and
Never. It never is like, it's always because there was something greater than yourself telling you not to sign that contract. It was.
my stubborn Taurus, it's fucking stubborn bull.
I don't know,
Yeah.
dude. I don't know, dude, if it was. It sounds like you just like, how long would you have had to work the corporate job for? Like a year, maybe?
So I've never worked a full time job for a year in my life. But it would have been for like the the basis of that, like 8 to 10 months. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No, I think
like
I mean from a third perspective, it sounds like you made the right choice, dude. Like your soul was saying, please don't put me in this situation because that sounds miserable. That's not the experience we came here for.
yeah, dude, and I think it comes back to like it comes down to principles. Like my number one principle is freedom over everything else. So me signing a contract right now saying that future me in 2 months' time, when he wakes up and he's actually feeling a little bit shit, is going to show up and be at this place for this amount of time,
Hmm.
no matter what. And that is not freedom. So I guess then, yeah, it was just that one guiding principle, which ended up probably causing me more pain. But we, what do we have if we don't have our
Growth.
principles? Yeah,
Growth, dude.
yeah.
Good for you though, man. Good for you because I can't say if I was in that situation I wouldn't have gone the corporate route. I mean, I did. I mean, currently transitioning out of a corporate road, and it took me a lot of spearheading against resistance to finally just let go of the idea and just be like, I'm just gonna be where I am, and it's not ideal, but it's only not ideal because I say it's not. And but yeah, like kudos is what I'm saying basically, because you might view it as stubbornness and cowardice, but it doesn't seem like that from my perspective. It seems like you went with what was most aligned to you at the moment, and that's all we can do, innit?
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it's crazy that like certain decisions that we make they have such a long half life or an afterlife that
Yeah,
sometimes we make one decision and we live with that decision for years to come. Yeah, again, getting a bit into the numerology. So I'm a five life path, born in the fifth month. So I'm a double five, five, the number of change. I've always, and before I realized that, I thought that there was something wrong with me. That why can I
mm,
not stay doing the same thing for longer than a few months? I honestly do. Like I would work a job for 3 months and think, "Fuck this! I need to get out of here." Or I would move to a country for 3 months and think, "Okay, right, time to move on." And dude, I was genuinely like, "Am I a bad person? Like, am I like just thinking all this negativity?" Until I was liberated by the fact that, oh my God, my code is one of constant change. Me trying to do the same thing over and over again is going against my very DNA.
yeah,
So finding that out, I was like, oh my God, like there's like a whoa, shit. I'm
yeah,
I'm not a shitty person. It's literally who I am. And it's enabled me to feel free to do that, just to make moves, to do things without feeling this ball of guilt that I was carrying with me for all the years, fucking 20, 23, 24 years. When I wasn't
yeah,
feeling guilty
man.
as a child.
Well, it's the impressions that everybody like sort of puts on you, isn't it? Like you pre realizations of all of the how things actually work. You sort of um you use society to sort of guide you through life, don't you? And if society is saying you should be like this and you should be like that, and you don't have any other reference point, you sort of go, well, probably they are right.
Yeah.
But but then when you get new information and you process it and it becomes who you are, then it's different, and then it's free, and it's literally dropping that weight. It's like, why am I carrying this? There's nothing in here. It's just coal.
Fully, dude. Yeah, it's a lot easier said than done, though.
Yeah,
Rejecting all of that and letting it go, because oftentimes it's the only voice. It's like this one voice. You even have the voice that agrees with everyone else inside your head. It's like, oh fuck,
Yeah,
half of
yeah,
me is agreeing with them. It's literally just this one little guy who has no evidence to back it up,
yeah,
apart
yeah,
from like synchronicities or stuff happening, etc. It's like, are you going to still just say, no, you're all wrong? This guy is right, and I'm going to
yeah,
run with it.
yeah.
And yeah, man, it's it can be
And he
brutal.
whispers at first. He whispers
Whispers.
at first. You can't hear him. He comes in the quiet moments.
And that's it, dude. It's comes in the quiet moments. It's, do we ever slow down enough to actually see what's going on? Like, I think it's such a perfect analogy that life is literally like we're zooming along a fucking highway,
Mm,
and all we have to do is look around and see, okay, what are we passing through right now? But we spend all of our
yeah.
time trying to get to the end, and there is no end, so quickly that we're actually forfeiting the whole purpose of the game. That we're not actually seeing, and it does sound cringy, etc. But it really is fucking like, it holds a lot of merit. Like, this week again started doing the practice of just sitting down, just setting a timer for an
Mm,
hour and just sitting there. And dude, it is honestly my favorite hour ever. Meditation often can feel like hell because again, it's forced. I'm like, I'm meditating now, so I'm signing the contract that I'm meditating. This one is like, I'm sitting here, there is no requirements, I'm just chilling. And then I end up naturally meditating because I'm not forcing myself to do it. Again, I'm so stubborn, man. Like, if you tell me to do something, I'll just do the opposite. It has its advantages and disadvantages. Um, for me, so if there's anyone stubborn listening, that really, really, really helps me. It's just, yeah, no requirements, nothing, just timer and then just being there. And it comes back to the dust analogy. It's almost not like dust. It feels like everything's coming to the surface, more like water. Everything's coming,
mm,
and then I'm like, oh, okay, this is the same thought that's been circling around, holding up energetic bandwidth all week. So yeah, that's that.
crazy, crazy, dude. No, it's good. And meditation's a tool, isn't it? Like we say we have to meditate and stuff like that. But if you get to a place where you observe your thoughts consciously every moment, meditation, it's just a tool for you to play with. Like at that
Hmm.
point, meditation's good to get us to that state. But when you get to that state, you can meditate if you like, but every moment's a meditation.
So Alan
But
Watts quote:
it's,
"Meditation is prescription, not medicinal."
oh, I like that. That's
So you
Alan
don't have
Watts.
to do it.
Yeah,
It helps me a lot,
interesting.
that one. But we can also trap ourselves thinking that, oh, because I often do this, that I meditate so much that I'm so calm, I'm so happy, I'm so present that I stop meditating and then I let the shit build up too much and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm stressed out, I'm not enjoying myself. And that's kind
Oh,
of what's
I'm not
happened.
meditating. I
Yeah,
should
yeah.
meditate. So you don't have to do anything.
Going back to it again. I think that's what happened here when I stopped doing my morning routine. Is because I had such a good morning routine that
Yeah.
I bumped my baseline up so high that I could then just go straight into work. But then I've been dragging my baseline down and down and down. Now I can
Interesting.
then go back up. Okay. Yeah.
That's
I think that.
interesting. Yeah, that's a good reflection. So you think if you were to integrate your morning routine in a more structured way, you think you could get back into deep work in the morning?
I think after what I'm just after realizing now is that I could maybe incorporate 1 to 2 deep work sessions sporadically, like just have
Hmm.
sporadic deep work sessions. That if I have something big that I need to chew off, I can do a deep work session, but make sure that I don't do like back to back to back to back to ones, maintaining the baseline
Yeah.
at a certain level. Because that's really what's happened, dude. Like my baseline is down now, and I can feel it. That's why I got ill. Everything. That's why my tooth's hurting. It's all sprung on from that. Hmm.
Your body's calling for rest, my dude. Gotta rest up.
Yeah, man. And then yeah, speaking of the body calling for stuff, how crazy is it now? So what day is today? So yesterday was the eclipse. Last night was
Oh yeah.
eclipse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, I'm talking
I
about
think it was last
astrology and
night.
I actually had no idea.
I think it is. I think it is. I think it's Aries eclipse was last night, and that's also then why I think we were speaking about this during the week. How so many people have headaches. They're feeling sick, low energy. Things are shifting. Like on the call this morning, dude. Oh, you weren't there for the beginning. Everybody on the call has now like pivoted slightly in what they're doing. It's now a new thing, and it's just come
Mm,
in with that Aries energy. This the
new
beginning.
energy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see.
Yeah, and the moon affects the subconscious. So the sun is our conscious mind and the moon is about our subconscious. So a lot
Okay.
of reprogramming work gets done at these pivotal moments. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking on the reprogramming as well. I don't know where me and you talking about this. How I used to when I first realized that our subconscious is running the show. Decided to intentionally program my mind with what I wanted to imprint it with, and I had all this stuff like literally every morning. I would just read about like emotions are
Mm,
vibrations and what the emotions that we're experiencing are leading to us to receive the reality that we experience, but also the work side. The first few pages were all about get up now, get to work, you need to earn this day, all of this shit. And then I would go into that our
boy.
emotions are so it worked for both, and I trapped myself into becoming this workaholic that cannot take a day off because I program my mind day after day after day. You have to earn this day. You have to do the work, um, and it's. I'm so glad that I realized that now because I'm now realizing that and intentionally choosing. Okay, it's time for another reprogramming
Mm,
session, and this time for with grace, this time with compassion, um, because it's no fun if you can never take a break and actually enjoy things. Like I was
uh-oh.
talking with Ursu the other day. Yeah, it's saying reconnecting, stable.
I think I've lost
Are
you,
we
my
are we
dude.
dropped off? Make sure you have a stable internet connection. I think maybe it's me, dude.
Oh,
Have
there
we
you
lost
are.
connection?
Yeah, I lost you for a little minute
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Something popped up on my screen. I think we're okay now, though. It seems to be moving and
Yeah, we're good.
grooving. What was I saying? Oh yeah, just about the whole not being able to take a day off thing. That I was talking with Ursu, and he was out for beers with his workmates the other day, and he texted me saying that like he just feels so guilty for being here. He doesn't even want to be here. Da, 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 da. And it's so funny. That's like it's not what happens to you; it's how you experience it. Like he's out doing something good, but he has the internal conflict and he's there for not enjoying that. So it works both sides. It can be something bad you can make good, or it can be something good that you make
Yeah.
bad. And it's yeah, that's
Yeah, and
it's a big one.
yeah,
Crack on, crack on.
every interaction he probably had and every beer he's drinking and all of this stuff, that's going through his internal filtration system,
His
which
framing.
is saying you're having a bad time. So now the frequency of the absorption of his environmental state, it's um it's not good. It's not good for him, and that's causing more disease. Whereas if if you just like theoretically beer isn't amazing for us, but if we said I'm gonna go for a beer and this is my intention, I'm gonna have a good time, and that's that, then you drink the beer and um your body's in complete harmony. It just flows through. There's no issues, and you're good. I think I lost you again.
Yeah, man. And yeah, no, the video lost, but I heard everything you said.
Ah, okay, good, good.
Um, but literally that exact beer example, I have a first-hand example of that exact thing. That before I went to South America the first time, I wasn't drinking any alcohol. I'd been sober for months and went there. The first few months, just drank the odd time, the odd bottle of wine, etc. And then ended up in the hostel in Peru, getting a job there, and then I ended up fucking drinking every single day for months, like not a single day off. And it was just this complete sharp contrast. And the few times that I drank when I was before the work at the hostel, because I was of the perception that alcohol lowers your vibration and it's bad for my body. Da, da, da. Every time I drank, dude, the next day I would be vomiting for hours. I couldn't leave the bed.
Mm.
One time I drank 4 beers, bro, and I was getting sick all day the next day because in my head, my
Oof.
reality was alcohol fucks us up. This is the worst thing for our body. It's poison. So it was
Yeah.
poison for my body, and I literally felt it. Then when I changed environment, changed my beliefs about it, I was like, okay, this is normal. This is part of my job. This is what I do in the day. Dude, I didn't have a hangover. Fucking like the first week was brutal. After that, nothing phased me. Um,
Crazy. That's wild.
Now
It's why it's
it's a lot of
why
responsibility.
yeah, yeah. It's why some people smoke all of their life and they're just healthy until like 90, 100 years old because they're fine with it.
Yeah, yeah. Then it really is the buck stops with us, so we have to fucking realize that. Like it really is our duty. And again, I use the word have, but it's our duty if we want to create the experience that we want to experience in
Yeah.
best line, or yeah, for our own benefit. Then it's in our best interest to actually take responsibility and actually fucking realize, okay, yeah, none of this is outside of me. This is my job. This is my duty. Fuck what anyone else says. I'm doing me.
Amen, brother. And I think if we ever started like a cheerleading band, we should sing out responsibility. So like R-E-S. It could be our thing. Responsibility, yeah.
Yeah, because it can be daunting, like to think that fuck, like, the whole thing that Pano always says, no one's coming to save you. It's fucking true, man. Like it's me, myself, and I. That also helps me with the guilt, which I'm feeling a lot less of recently. In
Good
these
man.
past few. Yeah, dude, I was carrying that around for years, years and years. Just literally just a ball and chain, just fucking.
Yeah. It's heavy. It's really heavy.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's like you know, when like all of these gurus and stuff, they say everything that you ever need, it's right in front of you. And I used to hear this, and I would go, "Where? What the hell are you talking about? Like, I want this, and I want that, and I want this, and that's not here." um, and I just picture it as like there's being chained to a bottom of a pool, right? And you're just stuck underwater. And every time you get close to the surface and you're trying to reach it, these old beliefs they just yank you back down. And it's like everything you ever need, it's there. It is. It's right in front of you. You're just holding yourself back with these
Hmm.
old patterns that don't serve you anymore. It's crazy, dude.
Dude, so you seem to have shifted you've rewritten your code. You're a developer that's rewriting your own code, um, really effectively. What kind of techniques and stuff did you use? Is it breath work? Is it
That's so.
psychedelic? What, or is it just
I'll tell
the
you what.
everyday?
I'll tell you what. Psychedelics helps a lot. We don't need psychedelics, but I think personally because the Western society and growing in the East, we're so bombarded by the excrements of capitalism and false belief systems and all of the lies that they're feeding us and all of the poison that we've been eating. For us to organically wake up and for us to organically program ourselves, it's it's like switching the difficulty up to the hardest setting. It's so difficult. And this is where we rely on these techniques. So it's like, okay, if I meditate 2 hours a day, then I'll probably get there. And you might, you know? If I do yoga 2 hours a day, you might get there. But, and you probably will with enough patience and practice and sorting out your environment and one step at a time. For me, and this might not be a common consensus, but psychedelics, it's just like it's like, okay, I'm going to hold your hand through this awakening and we're going to slowly get there one by one. Or uh, Big Daddy ayahuasca, or Big Daddy mushroom, well, Big Mother mushroom, comes up with a baseball bat and just like knocks you out, and then you wake up and you're just like, oh, I get it. Oh my god, I've been in such a delusion this whole time. Thank you for whacking me over the head with a baseball bat.
Pain
Um,
included.
yeah, pain included, pain included. And I think psychedelics, people always say your everything is available to you. All of these extra dimensions of consciousness and reality, they're all available to you all at one time. But until you get to a state like that, you can't experience them. And I think psychedelics is a very good way to introduce people into these altered states. And I say the word shortcut when I think about this. Um, it sort of is a shortcut. And yeah, because I don't know, it engages with something more than the senses. And it really, really connects you with who we are. So again, psychedelics is a tool, meditation is a tool, yoga is a tool. And all of these tools are here to help us essentially accept our reality, let go of it, realize that this is my reality and the one you're experiencing is your reality and you get to do whatever you want. Really, I don't know that. Yeah, the tools allow you to get there. We're all going to get there eventually. It might take us a few tries. It might take us a little while.
Few
A
lives.
few lives, a couple of lives, chop them off. But we all get there eventually, and yeah. So pick up all the techniques that you want. I used to use a lot of techniques. I used to use meditation, breath work. I seeked ayahuasca, and for me, the ayahuasca and the mushrooms and the LSD, the others,
Hmm.
they were the catalyst for me to awaken, and they were the tools that worked for me. But that doesn't necessarily mean to say that my tools are going to work for you. Like somebody could be doing very well and progressing very naturally through meditation. And if I say take a psychedelic and then it blows them into a state where they're not ready to experience, that can completely alter them and set them back on the path. So it's hard to recommend techniques in a way. It's more about displaying all of the available techniques and saying like, you know, are you a broadsword user or do you prefer nunchucks? Do you like samurai swords or do you like battle axes? So they're all gonna
Do
do the
damage.
same job. Just
Yeah. It makes me think then one thing you said there that the psychedelics are a shortcut. For sure, I think a shortcut is an accurate word to use. That then makes me think if it's the shortcut, if we're taking the quick option, is there then karmic debt associated with that, or is that the right word? But do we then pay a price for taking for copping out, let's say, for taking the easy route? I guess there is in some way, shape, or form. Who knows what it is, and every situation is dependent. But
it is,
like
and it's
cause and
immediate.
effect.
There is an effect, and it's immediate. If the shamans say you're called to do it, um, because it's part of your growth. That's how you get to the enlightened state. When I say shortcut, that's a shortcut from this linear perspective. But like, if our journey's all mapped out, me taking those psychedelics was part of my awakening journey. And it was at that moment that it worked, and it was at this moment that it didn't. I did ayahuasca quite a few times, and the first time was revolutionary and amazing, and I could have stopped there, but I didn't. I wanted to extract it, and the more I did it, the more it started slapping me into the ground. It didn't really like me doing it 13 times. One
Hmm.
should have been enough, but so what I'm saying is, I don't know what I'm saying. I've lost my train of thought.
Yeah, you were talking about how yes, that there is the repercussion, but it's all in the grand plan, and that yes, we're jumping timelines, but not the bigger timeline. It's more the physical ones.
It's
Then
a bad
what's your
trip.
perspective? Bad trip? Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's the negative repercussion. also then the negative repercussion is you're then different in your natural reality. So then you're feeling negativity from those around you because you've just changed,
Yeah.
let's say. So then you
Yeah.
are punished, quote unquote. It's not punishment, it's cause and effect. You did this action, you're now
That's what happens.
experiencing
And
the reaction.
now every moment is a reflection point. So every moment you can say, do I go against who I am now, or do I sit with it and reflect it and integrate it into my being? Um, it's always the choice. So you can have a bad trip. I had so many bad trips, and I could have been caught in psychosis for the rest of my life and be strapped
Mhm.
into I don't know, somewhere.
Mhm.
Or I just say, okay, that was difficult. That was really uncomfortable. My whole brain has been rewired. Something's changed inside of me. I don't fit in with anyone anymore. I got to choose how I navigate that situation. So even these bad trips, they're learning opportunities. Everything that we do is a learning opportunity, and everything should be framed like that. Um, so psychedelics, it's not like it's a it is a shortcut the way we look at it, but it's not at the same time, if that makes sense. Like if you're meant to do psychedelics and that is the thing that catapults you into awakening, then that's just part of your journey. And your intuition has led you to that point. So therefore it's not a shortcut, it's actually just an organic flow of your path. But if somebody's trying to force it and it's not part of their organic path, they probably will have a bad trip and they probably will have to learn the lessons of what that's offered them. And sometimes we have to learn these lessons the really tough way. Um, there were some people in our ayahuasca ceremonies who had like flesh eating demons like eating them alive and stuff like that. It's like you probably just weren't ready to take them. Or if you were, there's something there that you have to look at.
Mm. Yeah, dude. It makes me think then, like following that same train of thought, the whole thing of like you mentioned that the one time could have been enough. That doing that once
Mm,
and then you had the negative experiences all the other times because maybe it was from a place of forcing. But I have this all ongoing conversation always with myself with marijuana. Like, what
mm,
is the relationship there? It's like, where am I forcing that? And dude, I really haven't figured it out, man, because again there's two sides to it and both make perfect sense. So I really don't know where I lie with it. That it's like one thing I really realized was that, and Dariana really helped me work through this, that like the marijuana, it's a mother spirit, so it's got that protection energy. So of course we're going to feel nice when our mother's giving us a hug. That's all, no matter what happens, that's always going to feel nice. We can trick ourselves then into thinking, okay, because this feels nice, this is good, this is what I should be doing. Like if you just say we're building something and we just break it, we feel shit, we go and hug our mother, we feel better. That
mm.
doesn't mean that we're not breaking stuff at the same
Yeah.
time, we just feel relief. So this is, yeah, this is an ongoing thing, and I don't expect to have an answer for it anytime soon. But it's, yeah, again, dancing in between. Okay, where am I? Am I forcing it? Where am I? Where am I asking too much? Like, am I just? How much more information do you need? How many more times do you need to reaffirm the same thing? And it's like I used to smoke every day for years, and it was just reaffirming, yes, this is what you're doing. Do.
Mm.
Here's more ideas on how to do this. Do. And it's like, is this actually what I need for myself right now? But yeah, dude. Then the other side to it is, I always think that, like, what are we here to do? Like, the whole thing of you just open your eyes and you don't remember anything. There is nothing to do but be, and being with that with the plant feels amazing.
Why
So
not?
why
Why
would I
not?
deny myself that? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
why
the
not?
other side to it, dude. Yeah, man. Like that's why I still smoke, and but like the conversation is always there, and I'm bringing more awareness to, okay, what is the internal driver for wanting to this time? Let's say, yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting stuff.
Yeah, that's it. It's just your intention, isn't it? If the intention is led by a wanting, a desire. Everything that we desire exists on the spectrum of polarity. So if I'm desiring happiness, then you're desiring something within the dualistic mechanisms, which means that eventually you keep pursuing happiness, it's going to snap back and you're going to experience
Mm-hmm.
the opposite.
Mm.
If you try to chase anything within polarity, you are have to, by the laws of how polarity works, the more you experience of one without balancing it, the more you experience of the other. That's just how it
Mm-hmm.
works.
Mm-hmm.
If your intention is happiness, or your intention is because you're lonely and you're trying to escape loneliness, you're guaranteed you're emphasizing these energies in one way or another. But if your intention
Mm.
is because I fucking want to smoke, I just want to, no reason, like there's no desire, I
Uh-huh.
just want to be, and this helps me be. Um, then it's all down to how your internal conflict is. And if there is no internal conflict, remember, emotion is just emotion. It's the disturbance of, it's the motion of stillness. Yeah, I have a drawing somewhere. This might, stillness is sort of like our natural state of being. It's like the still line. And when we experience something, we dip into duality because that's how we experience. We dip into it. So if I have a pizza, I'm pursuing a little bit of pleasure in happiness. If I continue to eat pizza, then I'm going to continue to chase this desire. But
Mm-hmm.
if I eat the pizza and go, that was delicious, I'm glad I had that experience, now I'm going to eat healthy again, then we return back to balance. And the experience we have of the opposite of polarity, it's less because we've found
Mm-hmm.
balance and we've brought ourselves back. But if I eat a pizza and go, that was good, I want more pizza, I want more pizza, I want more pizza, and we're chasing gluttony, at a certain point, our bodies,
The
it's not
inflict.
even our body, it's like pulling the drawstring back of an arrow. You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
you're pulling back and
Down
pizza,
point.
pizza, pizza, and then all of a sudden, and it hurts. It really fucking hurts,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the universe trying to bring us back into balance. Balance is the absence of emotion, but to experience fully, we use our emotions. So we dip in and out, but it's just returning to balance. And the faster we can return to balance after having an experience, the less likely we are to experience the opposite.
Or the less
This is where our
the
reaction
intensity of
comes
it.
into it as well.
Yeah, it's huge.
Exactly, exactly.
It's
And if you do have, yeah, you go. Sorry.
yeah, shoot. Oh, there's a bit of a lag now.
No, no, you go, dude. It's all
Um,
good.
uh, this literally what you described there. Every trader has experienced that, not necessarily knowing that's what's happening, but the whole thing of like you win a trade, you go, yeah, fucking yeah, start jumping around, like you're experiencing all these heightened emotions. You are then creating, teeing yourself up to experience the exact equal and opposite of getting slammed to the floor. And dude, it was so difficult for me to now when I take a trade win, I just try and just take a breath, just
Yeah.
like be grateful, but not. I don't celebrate. I don't jump around, fucking yes, because I know that I'm just fucking myself up. Like next week, I'm just gonna pay for this. Like it's like doing a celebration and you're gonna fucking getting sent off. Like you're fucking yourself for future.
It depends if it's because when I booked my flight to Vietnam, I'd stood up and I was like shadowboxing. I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'm freaking out of this thing. Yeah, yeah." There's a difference between bliss and joy versus emotions. So, bliss and joy happens when we're in alignment and we're just enjoying our present moment, and that feels
Mm-hmm.
amazing. That's just pure bliss.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a difference between that and the pursuit of that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah. So experiencing it or forcing it or chasing more of it, trying to create
it's
more.
it's in it's in the chasing. It's in the pursuit. The pursuit of happiness, or the pursuit of money, or the pursuit of this, or the pursuit of that. When you're physically chasing something, you're upsetting the waters. You're disturbing it, and it's in the
Mm-hmm.
disturbance where the emotions arise. But in stillness, if you're in a naturally elevated situation and you are in love with your current experience and you're not chasing anything, that's just how you are because of what you've done or what you've experienced. That is amazing. And we can retain ourselves there by, like you said, breathing into it and bringing yourself back down. Um, I don't think there's anything wrong with experiencing those things. In fact, I think that's what we're supposed to be chasing, not chasing. That's what we're supposed to be experiencing. We're supposed to be experiencing that level of elevation all of the time.
Mhm.
We just have to remember to bring ourselves back into equilibrium for us to continue to have a
Mhm.
foundation point to experience again. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And then, yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. But it makes me think then, okay, so what's, because again, then this comes then down to, was I creating that? Because upon realizing this, that, okay, every time I'm going up higher, I'm going to be going down lower. Every time I would celebrate a win, let's say, let's keep it on the trading example. Every time I would experience the win and I would celebrate, I would then almost subconsciously think, "Oh fuck, I've just done that now. I've gloated too much against the market spirit, and now I'm gonna then get back in face with that." And then also then what I don't understand is it the, because everything is a spirit, so the market is a spirit, like that is a spirit. So I'm interacting with that spirit, and am I like gloating like, fuck you, I won today? Or is it straight up cause and effect polarity? Or is both of them, I guess it's both of them, it's both.
It's
Like the
resonance.
market, me and the
It's
market
resonance.
have a relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, your relationship with the market, it's in resonance. And if you're celebrating because you genuinely feel elated, that only increases your vibration. But it's then the expectations that it's going to happen next time, or it's the you start doing it because, haha, I told my friend I would do this and I did it. Ha, fuck him. Like
Hmm.
it's always the intention behind what you're doing. If your intention is, I worked really hard for this, I put my trust in it, and it paid off, and now I'm going to celebrate. Fucking good for you, dude. Like, big congrats. It's the intention behind what's going on. Um, and yeah, like next time you trade, if you have that expectation that that's how you're going to feel, you might not feel there like that. Or if you do, then more guilt starts to arise, and then it's the guilt, and it's like you said, the subconscious starts then to pull you back down. Whereas if every time you win, you're just generally elated because you know how much work you've put in and you just love yourself. And every time you feel like that, that's it. That's where we're supposed to be.
Hmm.
Supposed to feel
Hmm.
like that all of the time.
Yeah. And then just hearing you say that though, it's like feeling that, it then made me think, okay, well, if I'm feeling it at the top, it's then my duty to feel it at the bottom. So it's like I can feel that if I'm willing to then feel it on the opposite end. For instance, like I'm creating the environment where that is, in order to come back to balance, I have to feel the negative as well to come back to the baseline, to the equilibrium. Um. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, accept it as a possibility. Um, and usually, if you accept it as a possibility and there's no fear of it, that oftentimes it doesn't happen because you're not in the bandwidth of emotion at this point anymore. You're experiencing something beyond that. This state of non-duality people talk about sometimes. It's
Yeah. I don't really
outside.
understand non-duality.
So
You could
not
give me the TLDR.
TLDR. Duality. It's when we live inside the poles. It's
Hmm.
um, it's this
Yeah.
thing again. When we live inside the poles of duality, we're thrown all around it, and we become effects of everything that's around us. So we're getting thrown up and down and all around, and cycles are unpredictable. Whereas if I consciously choose to go here and have these pizzas, and I know there's going to be, I know there's a possibility of a snapback effect, but because I'm so at peace with it and I'm so acceptant, I'm not disturbing any of the waters. Like, this is
Hmm.
frequency. Imagine this is a disturbance like this. And the disturbance only happens when we chase duality. So when we chase happiness, when we chase this pizza, when we chase the new trade, whatever, it creates a ripple in our field, and that ripple has to resolve. It's music theory too. It's like when you have a tritone, which is two opposing notes, they sound horrible, and all they want to do is resolve. They want to bend and resolve. Everything wants to fit into its nice, calm, peaceful state because that's the natural state of everything. Non-duality means you you're conscious of everything, and every conscious action. If you do dip into duality, you know you know what you're doing. Basically, you accept that there's a possibility of the other, and you take it in stride. And because your vibration, it's not tampered with, it remains still. You're not allowing anything to move it around. That means that there's the stillness. You remain this line, even though even though you're experiencing something elevated. You
Okay.
experience something, but you remain as a rock, and you don't bend with it, or you bend with it in a natural way. Like Alan Watts says, like those who swim upstream meet resistance and get smacked in the face with logs, and those who just go with the flow and actively choose their own direction end up exactly where they want to be. And it's the same thing.
Okay, so I'm trying to frame it in terms of my current understanding of like a binary choice that like it's either hot or cold, but then there's also the third option, or it's either a red pill or blue pill, but there's also the third option. You don't need to just be within the constraints of within the binary constraint, but I'm trying to figure out what it looks like outside of the binary, and that's what I haven't conceptualized yet properly. What,
Well, it's
how?
it's it's a fluctuation in between red and blue. There's green. There's also yellow. But by focusing on the fact that there's only red or blue, it's we experience what we put our attention on. What is it that we tried to say last time? Energy goes where attention flows.
No, yeah, energy flows where attention goes.
That's it. Yeah. If we just think that hot and cold are the only options, then that's all we can experience, and we don't pay any attention to the in betweens because we don't know it exists.
Okay, so the
But
non-binary is experiencing everything that's in between the two poles.
yeah, and being at peace
So I
with
thought
all
you
of
said
it.
the non-duality. Non-duality.
Yeah, it's being at peace with all of it. So when you do experience, you're free to experience it without any sort of pullback because your internal state is not changed. It's like what you said before. When you had that elevated win, your subconscious immediately goes, "Get ready, we're gonna experience something hell." If you didn't
Hmm.
have that negative voice, all you would experience is that elevation, and you wouldn't need to experience any snapback.
Yeah. Same with coffee. Like how I'm now eating the coca, and I'm in my head. I think, okay, when I have the coca, I don't crash, and I'm not crashing. And is that because of the coca? Is that because the coffee? When I have the coffee, I have my spike, and then I crash. And again, it's both. It's like yes, the coffee is more extreme, so it has the potential for that outcome. But I could also drink the
Potential.
coffee and not crash if I didn't
Mm.
have that belief that I would crash after it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and again, literally staying on that coffee example, I used to be able to drink a coffee after dinner and then go to sleep. Then
Mm.
suddenly I decided, shit, no, I can't drink a coffee after dinner. And now, dude, if I have a coffee past 2, I'm fucking lying awake at night, and it's crazy. Like my whole life, I was fine, and I've been building up a stronger tolerance to it. But then I trapped myself, and now I can't drink it after X time.
It's tricky, isn't it? It's a proper tricky little web that is in effect all of the time.
Yeah,
It's
man,
tricky, man.
and we're the ones tying the knots together, and we're creating the maze that we have to
Yeah,
then
yeah.
navigate through.
We're tying our
Oh,
shoelaces. We're tying our shoes together with the shoelaces, and then we take a step forward and we fall, and it's like, "Ugh." God damn it!
dude, I love talking about this stuff.
Yeah, I
Dude,
love
we go
it.
for an hour and 45.
Hell yeah, man. It's pretty good.
This has been wicked, wicked and sound. Yeah, there's so much stuff I could talk about now, but then also I want to give my brain just let the dust settle and internalize this.
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, we can always do this whenever you want. Like, I'm always free for you, dude.
Yeah, yeah, that's I like that. I like that. Let's do that, dude. Um, I also have to relieve myself in the lavatory.
Very ambiguous. That could be anything.
But yeah, no, dude, it's been real, bro. It's been real. I always love our conversations, and this one was again
It has,
just one of
man.
those, bro. Yeah. Wait, let's leave. I'll plug your the Cosmic Architect is the name. Oh, we're lost connection. Hey, we're back. Um, Plug all your stuff in there. I know anyone that's listened this far in the conversation will fucking love what you've got going on because it's
Oh, if we
right
got
down
this
this
far,
lane.
yeah. Yeah. Let's see if I can do a
Just
succinct
us and the
plug. This is my
crazies.
first plug. What's that? Say that again.
Us and the crazies.
Hell yeah. Gang gang. Crazy gang.
Yeah, dude.
Uh,
Your CPA.
my little plug, let me see if I can whip it up. I should have maybe got one. All right, I'm developing an app called Cosmic Architect. I have created a landing page for it. The landing page, it's cosmicarchitect.co. Maybe we can put it in the description or something like that.
For sure.
That's going to have links to everything that you can find me on. You can follow me on Instagram. You can join this Discord community that I'm slowly building up. What else can you do? Oh, I've done a GoFundMe page to help me launch this. The whole thing is going to be, it's going to happen whether I get funding or not. The funding just helps with legal fees and all of this bullshit that comes along the way. I'm going to be doing it anyway. If you are interested in any of this, if you're interested in learning about astrology without needing to understand the complexities of it and you want to do it at your own pace, or you want to interact with just a beautiful user interface, then check it out. It's going to be completely free. I plan to get my funding from the community and elsewhere from content creation. Nothing to do with the app. The app's going to remain completely free. Anyone can use it. So there's no reason not to check it out. And yeah, much love. How was
Yeah,
that?
perfect, dude. And I just want to just second that and just say I've seen the ins and outs, and it is fucking amazing what you've done so far. And there's so much more cool stuff coming. Highly recommend checking it out. It is important work here that Pierce is doing. So check it out.
Dude, thank you. Appreciate your words, man. I appreciate
Appreciate you,
everything you've
dude.
done for me as well, dude. You've sort of been a rock for me the past few weeks, the past month, however long it's been. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you for always being that voice of reason and just hearing me out.
Love, my man. Nothing but love. Nothing but net.
Nothing but love, dude.
All right, gangster. Let's wrap it
All right,
up.
dude.
Until next time.
Yeah,
Au
boy.
revoir.
Speak to you soon, dude.